Raze and Sage are being nerfed, and we've got all of the details in this video. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. So we're going to discuss the Valorant patch notes 0.47, which include changes to melee damage. There's a bunch of map fixes and bug fixes, but the big hitters are the changes to Raze and the changes to Sage. Both of these agents are nerfed, and they are arguably the strongest agents in the game right now. So Riot are clearly taking action against them to bring them under control. So let's get stuck into the changes. First up, let's discuss the melee damage changes, and these are the details. Melee attacks now inflict double the damage per hit to destructibles, including Sage's Barrier, Haven's Metal Double Doors. Why? Well, there wasn't enough options during low econ rounds, such as the first round and right after switching sides, to combat Sage's Barrier Orb. Our intent is to add a high-risk, high-reward method for players to interact with her wall, while still being able to take it down no matter their loadout. Now, this is an indirect nerf, or rather a direct nerf to Sage. This is not even included in Sage's other nerfs, which we will get onto in a second. But this means you can destroy the barrier wall much faster with a melee weapon. So in pistol rounds, you've got the option of pulling out the knife and slashing away on the wall. Now, this comes with risk, and the developers do touch on that in the dev comments, that yes, if you are slashing away on a wall, they're probably going to know you're doing that. The enemy team are going to line up your head and probably kill you as soon as the wall gets destroyed. But at least this is an option, and hopefully it's a viable option to try and take out the wall if it is used to block off a certain choke point. Because Sage's Barrier Orb is incredibly powerful because it just cuts a point effectively in half, or at least it cuts off one specific choke on whatever point you're attacking or defending, and that is incredibly powerful, especially for the first round or the round after you swap sides, because you've only got pistols. So this is a good change by Riot, and I think this is actually probably indicative of the way they're probably going to balance the game going forward, and that's a very good sign. Before we move on to Raze's details on the nerf, I want you guys to check this out. This is from a developer blog post which went live just before the patch notes were available. So check this out. The value of lethal abilities is to create temporary areas of denial that require opponents to quickly reposition from that space. This can be used to reliably clear corners or push opponents off of angles where they have an advantage, forcing them to move from their position of power. Sometimes you can outright kill an opponent if they don't respect the ability in the moment and fail to respond, or if you coordinate abilities with your team, like stacking a cluster grenade on a Sage slow field. We don't expect the common case of lethal abilities to be outright killing the opponent, especially at higher levels of play. As awareness and quick response to lethal abilities increases, the value should shift from outright killing someone to the other areas of value this type of ability provides. However, it is on us to provide you with the proper audio and sound cues, information, and windows of time for you to react properly. You should feel that you're equipped with the proper gameplay information, and that when you die and your opponent makes a good play, it's on you. This is definitely an area for improvement for us, and we're actively working on now. As an example, when Raze equips her rocket or fires it from distance, you should be able to clearly hear and identify the oncoming threat. So that gives us a very clear window into the way the developers are thinking when it comes to heroes or agents like Raze and their ability to effectively lock down areas of a map with lethal abilities. Now, we all remember the very famous quote of, yeah, abilities won't kill you in Valorant, they'll just be used to set up kills. And then actually, hello, we've got Raze and she's just killing everybody. However, you can see the argument the developers are putting forward of like, look, you should be able to hear this grenade gets thrown, you see it, you can react. It doesn't instantly detonate, it bounces off walls, you should be able to get away. However, I am that person who's had a lot of nightmares trying to push through mid on split, and there's a Raze standing there and you've got no chance. And if there's a Sage there as well, you've absolutely got no chance. So, without messing around anymore, let's get into the actual patch notes for Raze and discuss these, because they are quite heavy changes. Reduced paint shells from 2 to 1. Now, this is a very big nerf for Raze, because this means no longer will you have the threat of, uh-oh, she's got another grenade, she's going to throw down the choke. Once you hear that first grenade go, that's it. You know she no longer has the grenade. But wait, they've actually changed the way you obtain the grenades. No longer do you buy them, you actually get them on kill resets. This is very similar to the way agents like Jett work. You get 2 kills, it resets your signature ability, which is dash. So this is the change. Paint shells now have a kill reset, requiring players to get 2 kills to refresh the cooldown. So this means that, yes, if she throws a grenade and it doesn't get anybody, but then she gets 2 kills, she might have another grenade ready to go. And I think this is fine because this rewards the Raze player for getting 2 kills. She gets another grenade, and then you've kind of got to respect her. If you see 2 kills in the kill feed from her and you know she's already used a grenade, she's probably going to throw another one at you. So again, this introduces an element of kind of counterplay, an element of being able to outplay, and that's exactly what the developers are trying to do with Valorant, which I think is awesome, and that's why that is a particularly good change. Tuned and adjusted audio for paint shells, blast pack, and showstopper, which is the rocket launcher, so that they'll now be easier to hear in hectic scenarios. This is, again, a really good change. The rocket launcher especially, you would hear the audio cue, she'd shout the line out, and you'd be like, uh-oh, where's the rocket? And then the rocket kills you. Now it shouldn't be as bad. So hopefully this won't be as bad. I think for the rocket launcher, it's an ultimate ability. You're not going to see it 5-6 times a game. You're going to see it 2 or 3 times an entire match. But the grenades, this is the big one. Hopefully paint shells are super loud now and you can really hear them as they're being thrown around in a hectic battle. Fixed an edge case where the secondary cluster of paint shells would explode quicker than intended. They now have a minimum duration before exploding. And then they go on to explain this. What's up with that? Raze's goal is to be a highly threatening duelist that punishes enemies posted in predictable positions, but we felt like the cluster grenades and their number were creating overly oppressive scenarios. Also, players should be supplied proper gameplay information, and the audio cues on all of Raze's abilities didn't match their threat. So we changed the audio of each. For example, when the showstopper is equipped or fired from a distance, players should be able to clearly identify and interpret the threat. So this is a fantastic change to Raze. Overall, she will be less oppressive because of this, and I don't think anybody is going to disagree with these changes. I hope, though, that Riot can keep up this cadence or this speed of updates, because this has been really fast. They haven't messed around here. They've changed Raze within like potentially a week. Let's say a week, because for the first week of the closed beta, and I guess for a few days after that, yeah, people were saying Raze might be a bit powerful, but it takes time, doesn't it, to learn and sort of work out where these heroes are mega powerful, or agents, I should say. Where are they super powerful? And they've given it maybe 2.5 weeks, and they've come in and they've made the change. And this is incredible. We want to see more of this, Riot. Let's move on to Sage. Slow Orb now also slows the airspeed of players in the zone. Now, this is a slight buff, because this means if you're in the air, you will also be slowed down, which makes it incredibly easier for Sage or Sage's allies to shoot you as you're moving through the air. You'll be slow. However, this doesn't affect, I believe, movement abilities like Tailwind from Jett. She can still dash across this. It will not slow her down. However, players can now walk through the Slow Orb without making noise. This is absolutely massive, because Sage, with her Sage Wall, I mean, that is just incredible. Barrier Orb goes down. It locks off one area of the point. Now, yes, there is the melee change, so yes, you can knife the wall down a little bit easier in a pistol round. However, the wall is still going to be pretty damn good. It's there, it's deployed. Then Sage throws a Slow Orb down. You cannot push while the Slow Orb is down, and it's a massive area. It lasts for a long time, and then guess what? She throws another one down, restricting movement again through whatever choke point you're trying to attack the point from. This is incredible. And of course, if you walk on it, well, she knows you're on it. She can hear the crackling sound. Everybody knows you're there. They're going to throw in probably a Raze grenade to blow you up or something like that, right? And that is a problem. So this is what the developers have said about the Sage change. Players were able to circumvent too much of Sage's Slow Orb by bunny hopping through the zone. We want the minimum slow amount to be a bit more consistent with all movement in the zone, while still allowing for bunny hopping and walking to provide a slight benefit to traversing the zone. Also, we feel adding a stealthy yet slow way to move through the field brings more nuance to playing against the zone and a bit more uncertainty for Sage, since she can't necessarily hear people who move through. It's massive, guys. This is a massive change. You know, I've got this. Again, I'm having nightmares of trying to defend B on bind, and I'm coming from the spawn position, and Sage's just throws off banana or elbow, and I'm like, oh no, how do I get? I've just got to stand here. And I stand there, and then the orb goes, and she throws another one down. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm just standing here. At least now you can walk through it slow, and she won't know you're there, and you'll still be able to peek. You'll still be able to try and do something without her necessarily knowing that you're on the slope. And that's an incredible change. So again, we're seeing nerfs here to Raze. We're seeing nerfs to Sage, but they're nerfs in exactly the right direction. I don't disagree with any of these changes. In fact, they're really good changes, and I hope that they carry on doing this, because this will just make the game better in the long run. Really cool stuff. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think about these changes. We also have some map updates in these patch notes. Several exploits fixed on Bind, Haven, and Split. Split orb moved from B mid to B main. Interesting. This is, of course, the ultimate orb. And the intent of this is to alleviate some pressure from mid and provide more incentive for players to control B main. Okay, that's fine. Totally fine. And finally, we've got some quality of life changes and some bug fixes. Reduce the outbound network traffic from client for players running at high frames per second. Some ISPs and network setups were throttling game traffic, impacting gameplay by causing large spikes in network latency as FPS increased. No impact to gameplay responsiveness. And bug fixes fixed a rare server crash caused by packets occasionally being corrupted by some players' networks. Cypher's spy cam can no longer use weapons. Fixed a bug where footstep audible range would sometimes not appear on the minimap. So there you go, guys. Those are the first patch notes for the Valorant closed beta. Some incredible changes there by Riot, and hopefully they continue making great changes as the game evolves. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff in the comments below, guys. I've been Salosa, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.